Brother lads, welcome back to the Kosi Arsenal podcast. My name is Kosi. Just Fabregas has released a rather insightful but very worrying interview about the concerns of big players at Arsenal and why we keep on losing big players and why he eventually left the club. Now, I've always wanted to do a reaction to this one. I've always wanted to give my perspective on the words of Fabregas. Many people hate him, and many people in the comment section of that video were really angry and arrogant towards just Fabregas. But I think he has a point. Why big players keep on leaving Arsenal, and why eventually he had to leave the club, and why, if we are not very serious and very careful, the likes of Saliba, the likes of Saka, might end up, on the same road as Thierry Henry, as Hileb, as Nasri, as Fabregas, and the like of them. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well. Why did Cesc Fabregas really leave Arsenal? Was it because he really loved Barcelona and, they always have to go back? Or was it a more serious reason? Now, Fabregas was asked about the real reasons why Arsenal fans don't like him anymore and why, he left the club. And he said, if you leave Arsenal, because Arsenal fans are so loyal to the club, they will hate you, right? I definitely hate Robin van Persie. There's no question about that. I hate Adebayo, and we will do a story on Adebayo because Adebayo's departure is linked to a period where he was chased away from the club, right? But I still don't like him, honestly. All players that made their name at Arsenal and eventually left, I don't like them. But just Fabregas opened up and he said, the reason as to why we were all leaving and the reason as to why I eventually left Arsenal is we were being lied to. They lied to us, right? They, Arsene Wenger and whoever was running the club at the time, they told these players that we are trying to be the invisible Arsenal. We are trying to be great again. We are building a big project once again, right? And just Fabregas said, we worked tirelessly. I personally worked tirelessly. I gave 100% to the club. My mental health was in jeopardy, and I couldn't think about anything else but Arsenal. And yet, Arsenal 100% lied to us. They started selling players. They started getting money out of the project that they said they were building. And that's when most of the players started realizing, wait, this is not Arsenal building once again. This is Arsenal looking to make money. Remember at the time the Emirates Stadium was being built, Arsene Wenger needed a lot of money. So what he did was bring in players at very cheap costs and then move them on, right? And then move them on. So you look at the likes of Ashley Cole, you look at the likes of Fabregas, Song Belong, whatever amount and whatever player was profitable at the moment, Arsene Wenger was going to sell. So just Fabregas said, I looked at it and I was like, what am I doing here? I looked at Manchester United. They were keeping on improving. They were doing the opposite of what Arsenal were doing. Arsenal were releasing their best talents to the best in Europe, and Manchester United were attracting the best talents from the best in Europe. And I said, it's time for me to leave. I didn't see the vision, the vision anymore. Now, what I want to say about that is this. There are two explanations to that. One, the truth is that Arsenal needed money by that time. We needed money. The stadium was sucking a lot of money from the club, and the Cronkies were sucking a lot of money from the club too. So we needed the money. We needed to sell. There's no question about that. And I thank Arsene Wenger that he managed to build the stadium, sustain the Cronkies, and don't run this club into a Leeds United or a QPR position. Because in most cases, what happens is if you're signing players for 1 million, 2 million, 10 million, 3 million, what eventually happens is you lose the quality, you lose the overall quality in your squad. You're losing your best players, right? And you're bringing in underdogs and players that have to be groomed. So the scouting department, the scouting network at Arsenal at that time needs massive credit. Arsene Wenger needs massive credit too for giving us a chance to believe, right? We were always in the fourth place, no question about that. But with which talent? With which players? Koscielny, Squillaci, Welbeck, Walcott. These are the players that we had. If you compare that to Manchester United at the time, it is even an embarrassment to them that we were competing with them. And if you brought Arsene Wenger's teams post 2006 and you brought them today in the Premier League right now, I don't think they stand a chance. I don't think they do. I really, really don't think they stand a chance. Like, we have some very good players, don't get me wrong, right? But Samuel Nasri at 1 million, 2 million, or at like 5 million, and you bring him right now in football right now, with the likes of Bournemouth investing a lot of money, with the likes of Brighton investing a lot of money, I think we wouldn't have survived. So just Fabregas has a point. But what he's got to understand is the club needed money at the time, and that's why we were selling up his players. But then he also says that what frustrates good players and what frustrates big talent at a club like Arsenal is when players don't see further investment, when players don't see improvement. They want to see improvement on the training facilities. They want to see improvement on the on the transfer market. Who are we bringing in? Players are like fans. They're also out there rooting for the club. We are going for Mesut Ozil. Yes, let's go get Mesut Ozil, right? So he said they are reached a time where you're like, no, the club is not really. It's not happening. The club is not really giving me a reason to stay. We are not signing good players anymore. We are not keeping a hold of our best talents anymore. It's time for me to leave. Now, why that is worrying is this. At the moment, Arsenal have $1 billion worth of talent. Like, you look at Declan Rice, someone can still give us 100 million for Declan Rice right now. Odegaard, someone can give us 70, 80 million for Odegaard right now. Saka, 100 million. Saliba, 80 to 90 million. Gabriel, 80 million or 70 million, depending on where you stand. We have about 10 players that can cost you 60 million and above. That is like 60 million, 600 million face value. So if you think about it, these players look at themselves at the same level as Phil Foden, as the same level as Erling Haaland, as the same level as Kevin De Bruyne. When we play Man City, we have 10 players that go, we are playing a fellow good team. And what happens is that these players have to believe in the project that you are running and the project that they are part of. We can't get beaten by Manchester City every single year and you don't improve and you think this player is going to be satisfied. Not really. So why I'm scared is that if Arsenal go another window, I pray that it doesn't happen, but if Arsenal go another window without acting big, without acting serious, we might start to see Madrid poaching. They take Saliba. Barcelona come and take Saka. Odegaard leaves to another club. Like that. And the moment you lose 3 players, then team is like, I gotta go. Then Ryan's like, I gotta go. So it's high time we started acting like a big club. Otherwise, what just Fabregas is saying and what all these other players are saying is Arsenal disappointed us. We thought we were a big club chasing silverware, only to turn out we were a small club that were just giving competition to the bigger clubs. Okay, so let me know. Are you angry with Fabregas? Do you forgive him? And did you forgive Robin Van Persie, by the way? I will do the Van Persie story. I'll share my thoughts on Robin Van Persie's story, and I'll share my thoughts on Adebayo as well, right? Because Adebayo and Van Persie have something in common as well.